very important match for everyone involved.
Not just a small key to Skull Woods, not too much there, and a piece of heart in the Sanctuary. So I'm looking at the seed. What is the one item that you think is going to troll these guys?
Oh, it's so hard to make that call, especially with it being Keysanity. I think it's definitely going to be a key. More often than not, it always tends out to be a big key of some sort. So I'm going to go with let's have the Ganon's Tower big key be the troll today.
Very nice call. As always, that can be pretty much anywhere. And we do have a bottle by Uncle today.
Yep, bottle of red potion. That'll be very helpful for the Kakariko visit. And speaking for getting ready for the Kakariko visits, 3 of our runners are opting to do the Hula Hand strat. Very, very recommended, I think, in Keysanity, just because with all the different items you could be potentially getting early on, it's good to kind of have your rupees taken care of for not only the bottle vendor, but also for a bomb possibility and for the flippers purchase at some point.
Yeah, for sure. It's always nice to be able to do a Kakariko in one wave, so you want to try to have as much money as you can when you go over there. And having the early bottle definitely helps as well.
Definitely. Let's see, Glan is doing the southern route, so is Taijuu. Gonna try to get some bombs from the Sacred Grove bushes. Definitely a good strat as well, and allow you access to the kind of the bomb shed, as I like to call it, in Kakariko, which can give you bombs without having you have to buy any. So that's another good strat we're seeing here. And on the race game, looks like we have just a piece of heart. Don't see them going after that.
And TimLobo is also doing the Hula Hand, so all 4 of the runners did that today. I definitely can't blame him for doing that.
Yeah, definitely not. On library, it looks like we had another piece of heart there, if I saw that correctly.
So for myself, I'm going to go for that. I usually go with 1 or 2 things. I either go for the Swamp Palace small key, which unlocks the entire dungeon. And there's your Ganon's Tower key.
Okay, never mind. I guess that's not going to be trolly at all. It's going to be right there in the back of the tavern.
So yeah, as I was saying, the Swamp Palace small key or the 4 keys to Turtle Rock, I think, are the going to be the issues.
Yeah, those are definitely ones that can definitely come into play as well. Okay, and the chicken house for Glan. Looks like we're going to have just 20 rupees. Nothing important there.
So far, not a huge amount in Kakariko Town other than the Ganon's Tower key. Kind of want some progression, though. And there's the baby shield by Glan, by the bottle vendor, so that's an overpriced shield.
It is actually kind of interesting. All 4 runners have opted to go the southern Kakariko route. That's not really something you see where all runners in a quad race do that.
So the maps in this game, now we're playing Keysanity, have a little bit more of a value to them. It will let you know if your dungeons are crystals or pendants. So they're worth picking up if you come across them.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, one of the maps they got right there, Hyrule Castle map, that will actually not really be of help with them at all, because that does not have a crystal or pendant. But yeah, just because Keysanity does kind of give some further purpose to those dungeon items, it's a nice way to kind of look for them and potentially go out for them in the world if you can find them. There's one of the Turtle Rock small keys right there, and the Quake Medallion, and the Book of Medora. Wow, this pays out way more than that other 5 chest location did in Kakariko.
Yeah, Blindsight having quite a bit in it, and we have a small key to Dark Palace. So we're going to be looking for at least 4 pod small keys, 6 is preferred.
Yeah, Palace of Darkness, rather, is a very, very tricky dungeon when it comes to going through it all, especially considering there's a potential soft lock that can come into play as well. Very quickly, Sick Kid has the mushroom. So our runners are going to want to try to get as many of those keys as possible so they can clear out all of Palace of Darkness so that soft lock does not come into play.
Let's see what our Dark Woods holds for us today. Tree pulls some money, so that's a nice sight.
Okay, so our first item was a piece of heart, and our second item in the woods is a small key to Desert Palace. Ooh, that's actually a nice one. That gives them 2 items when they do eventually make it to Desert Palace, and with the book, that is technically in the logic right now.
Yeah, the game could be saying go to desert.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and yeah, chat's making a very good point, and we will definitely be seeing that right now. Since we do have the book, this is a prime opportunity to check the pedestal since you are kind of in the area. So Hitaka is definitely going with that hunch and seeing if there's anything there on that pedestal.
TimLobo did just check the Lumberjack Ledge. I didn't catch what it was personally.
Yeah, I didn't see that either, unfortunately.
Alright, chat, let's get some pedestal hype in chat.
Unfortunately, just for some couch cash.
And with that, only 6 minutes in, our pedestal dreams are dead, chat. Sorry.
I think that goes for everyone in chat for that matter. Let's see, 300 rupees, a compass to Turtle Rock, the bow, a small key to Dark Palace, and a small key to Turtle Rock inside the mini Moldorm cave.
But that was a 300 rupees on the Lumberjack Ledge, so not needed there either.
Yep, I don't see, even if rupees are needed for some things in the seed, I just do not see people beating Aghanim just for that sole purpose of checking that, or getting that 300 rupees, so that is probably not going to happen either.
Yeah, for Aghanim 1 to come into play with our Keysanity, we need a few things. We need a sword, we need 2 castle tower keys, and we need a light source, and we need the cape, of course.
Mm-hmm. We did get a big key to Ice Palace on the dam. Hitaka picked that up.
Yeah, that's one of those big keys that's not necessarily needed, especially if you go with your bomb jumps.
Although sometimes they may stick that an item in that big chest, and that could potentially require a double dip in the Ice Palace, and no one wants to do that, so they're probably still happy they have that regardless.
Yeah, for sure. Those big chests can be quite a pain if you're not prepared for them.
Anyway, Glan has taken that hunch that he got with that book and that desert small key, and he is going straight to the desert area. I do think this is a good play at this point. Generally, you don't want to double dip dungeons, and at this point, that might be the possibility here, but at Keysanity, it's kind of unavoidable, just because there's sometimes items in that location that will lead you to that item to full clear that dungeon, so you kind of have to make the play sometimes.
He is going to check a Ganon first. And we do need a light source before we can actually fully clear out desert. And he needs a big key still also.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and the power gloves too.
But you'll be able to get the chest early on at least. Taijuu trying to deal with the escape with just bombs. You gotta be a little bit careful on how you place them.
Okay, so we have the Moon Pearl for the first treasure inside Hyrule Castle, and just 50 rupees in the Ice Cave.
Yeah, Moon Pearl's definitely something you want to get as early as possible, just for the sake of mind. See if the hunch to go to desert was accurate. We're going to start checking some chests momentarily here on Glan's side. And that is the hammer. That's a very nice pickup.
Yes, that is a very nice pickup, and that knowledge of where the Moon Pearl is, that is 2/3 of the Dark World required items, so... oh, and there's the third one right there. Glan making all the right plays today.
Still needs to go to the escape to get the Moon Pearl, but that's a sword by Taijuu.
Ooh, nice. Okay, yeah, sword.
The hammer does devalue the sword a bit. It does do tempered sword damage. It has a much smaller hitbox, though. You will need at least 2 swords to finish the game, though.
That is true. Yeah, even though it does have kind of a weird hitbox, it's definitely one of those cases where you kind of get used to it, especially in these early game scenarios when you don't have a sword. So getting used to the hammer and its hitbox is very, very advantageous because you essentially have a tempered sword with that in your possession.
And there's the Hair of Big Key. That's a nice find.
Yeah, that will allow Tower of Hair to be completed when they do make their way up Death Mountain. Won't be able to full clear it, but it will allow that completion of Moldorm and getting the pendant or crystal there. Also, looks like our green pendant is going to be in the Palace of Darkness.
It does look like Glenn is going to go down to the escape, so they'll grab their Dark World access momentarily.
And Hitaka is going to be our first runner inside Eastern Palace. As of right now, by logic, only 3 chests can be cleared at the moment, but if the Hitaka does know their dark rooms, that will be 4 chests, so hopefully he does know that. It'll be a little hard, though, with no major weapon to use to kind of pinpoint your location in the actual dark room. We did get this Swamp Palace small key, though.
Yeah, so both of our opening match troll items are underway, at least.
Yeah, that's the way it's looking right now.
That's good, though. We like to see quick seeds. Not too much stress.
Yeah, and with the way they handed out the Dark World access, yeah, this could be a really, really fast seed, but just wait. Something is probably going to happen at some point. Oh, and there we get an Ice Rod, I believe that's what it was, in Eastern as well.
Yes, I believe you are correct. That was most likely the Ice Rod. Yeah, that Swamp Palace key unlocks the entire dungeon for him. You also need hookshot and flippers, but it's definitely nice to have that key out of the way.
Hookshot, flippers, yeah. And the mirror as well to even get inside, so...
Looks like TimLobo also twinged on Desert being the play to be.
Yeah, definitely a good call to go back here, and then honestly it would be a pretty decent call to go to the Eastern area at this point, although they may want to wait till later when they have kind of more items and potentially the ability to kind of work on both Eastern and Palace of Darkness simultaneously.
Yeah, it really depends on where our light source comes from and how long into the seed we get a light source.
Well, with how easy they threw that Dark World access, it could quite literally be anywhere in Dark World at this point. And that's kind of one of the trolly things. When you get immediate Dark World access, it's kind of just trying to tell you that, okay, well, Lamp could be just almost anywhere.
Hitaka using some damage boost to get to that chest while having to clear the room. Nice play there. Without the big key, though, not too much we can do in Eastern.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's going to be it for this area. Gland is making a play to check out the Dark Room in Hyrule Castle. Very risky to do without a sword, but using that bow to try to tell where he is in the dark.
Yeah, that dark maze in Hyrule Castle can be quite a pain, for sure.
Ooh, just for a map of Misery Mire, though.
Hitaka's making their way down to the escape. TimLobo checks the key. Probably gets the idea that he can't do too much more here in the desert. You know, it's like Glenn is going to go to the backside of the escape because those 3 chests.
Looks like the only value in that back room of escape is just the ability to say what Eastern Palace is as far as crystals and maps. There was not much else in there.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a disappointing backside. And Hitaka grabbing their sword, so happy to see that, I'm sure.
And yeah, Glan is off to the Dark World right now.
Definitely nice to be into a Dark World, only 17 minutes into the seed.
And he is immediately going to use that Dark World access to check kind of the immediate high-density item locations here. We got 5 chests inside the formerly known as Hype Cave. Used to be a lot of great items in here. In more recent versions, that's not the case, but in Keysanity, with keys added to the mix, it could be helpful. And there's one right there, Thieves Town Small Key.
Yeah, I've become to call this cave the Cave of Infinite Sadness because, as you can just see, not too much here. Hyrule Castle Key.
Ooh, yeah, one of the most useless small keys in the game, because Glan does not even need that key anymore.
So that was I want to say a 2 out of 10 for the Hype Cave today.
Yeah, I'd pretty much agree with that. It'll allow him to check the Thieves Town big chest when he gets to that point. But aside from that... Oh, go ahead.
We just had a map check. Our Mire is a 6 crystal. And Swamp House will be the 5th crystal. So Swamp and Mire can be our 5-6.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Land's going to check the Pyramid Ledge to see what they can find over here.
Yeah, definitely not a bad check. I've definitely seen racers kind of forget about this pyramid location, or at least check it very, very late in the seed, and sometimes it does kind of have the item you're looking for, so good that he's kind of getting that out of the way right now. And it's the Cane of Samaria, so very, very good play.
Yeah, that's a undervalued item. It lets you use the blocks instead of having to pull towers around to open up doors. So it speeds things up quite a little bit.
Yeah, especially in Skull Woods, and that could be a very close play from now, so definitely probably glad that they got that.
Yeah, I think there's 2 places it can be used in Palace of Darkness also.
Mm-hmm. You know, it looks like Hitaka is finally getting the hint for what the seed has been telling them to do, and making their way to the Desert Palace right now.
Early catfish check, that's definitely a out-of-the-way place, so you might as well get it done early if you can. We got a small key to Misery Mire, so one of the more useless small keys.
Yeah, that's right. Misery Mire has 3 small keys you can find in the outside of the dungeon or inside dungeons, and you can actually navigate Misery Mire without collecting a single one of them. There's enough small keys and pots to actually navigate through the whole dungeon, so those keys are a little useless.
And Hitaka grabbing their hammer.
You know, Taijuu has been having some issues with the crabs in the South Lake Hylia region. These crabs are ruthless. 2 hearts of damage with green mail. It's ridiculous for a small enemy like this.
And they're deceptively quick, too.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Glad's gonna make our first approach into the Skull Woods.
Unfortunately, full clearing is not an option right now since they do not have a fire rod, but they can at least check all but 2 chests that you can find in this area.
Yeah, they won't be able to get the big chest yet either, so they'll definitely have to come back
yeah,
here.
that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I almost forgot about that.
Probably loop downwards and go into Thieves Town after this, in the Village of Outcasts.
And a big key to Thieves Town. Wow, that would be a really, really good place to check after this.
Well, they have the hammer and they have that small key, so that big chest is open to them also now.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that would be a full clear right there.
And Blind is one of the easier bosses, given how scripted it can be.
So earlier when we were talking about the Can of Samaria being useful for this one part in Skullwoods, you're going to see why. You're going to be able to get rid of those jellyfish and then immediately just go to the back here, put that block around that switch, and then go in the room without having to move that statue around.
And it lets you reposition the enemies in this room that he's in now also. They won't be all bunched up at the doorway.
Yeah, that's right. Ooh, and a bottle of blue potion too. That's also really, really nice.
Going for the quick magic pickup and gets a hand out of the dungeon intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we do have a little bit of following going on of former footsteps. I want to give a quick shout out to MathGirl718 and Sigma for the tracking behind the scenes for us today. Thank you for your hard work. We appreciate you both.
Okay, just a heart container on the bumper cave ledge, and yeah, definitely major props to all the trackers for not just this match, for all the matches. They definitely do a lot to make sure everything gets caught and everything gets tracked, so all the viewers can know what exactly is going on, and even the commentators as well. So thank you for all of your hard work.
Yes, absolutely. And let's see what the Sea House has for us in play today, and it is just $5, so not too much there.
Yeah, an unfortunate downgrade from the vanilla game, because I believe that's one of the 300 rupee chests in the vanilla game.
And the treasure chest not having too much either.
Yeah. Village of Outcasts, not looking so good right now, but with a full clear of Thieves Town coming, I imagine that's going to be right on Gland's agenda right now.
No, he just has to be a little careful there. He is down to 6 hearts and green tunic, so stuff is going to do quite a bit of damage to him.
Oh yeah, that is correct. That is a very good point. Thankfully, I think he has that red potion still from the very beginning of the game, and also a blue potion too. If things get too hairy, but still, he may want to keep those for later as well.
It's always those stupid cricket enemies up by where the maiden is that always get me.
Yeah, especially right now, because with Fighter Sword, I believe they take a lot of hits, so yeah, that can be really annoying to deal with.
Yeah, those cricket enemies are the worst. And that is a medium shield by Glan. One more shield, and that means the laser bridge is in play by logic.
Mm-hmm. And getting the fire shield in this dungeon, honestly, really good item to have, actually, because that will kind of help a little bit in the blind fight, especially with the low number of hearts that our runners have right now. It'll deflect a few fireballs here and there.
Hitaka following right along in Glan's shadow and going right to where he was before. Gonna check the bumper cave first, though, which is definitely a smart play to figure out what that item is.
I believe it's just a heart container.
Yep, you are accurate. Chat bringing up a good point. Just a heart container, but we have so little hearts in this unit. It could be good.
That is true, but by the time they get the cape, it might be a little too late. They may have other heart containers. That's the only reason why I said that.
Yeah, this is true.
At this point, the heart container is just kind of teasing them at the moment.
Not a turn the Thieves down, though, surprisingly, yet. Mostly just a lot of money.
So yeah, Glan opting to use that potion right there.
Yeah, it does look like Thieves Town was a pendant.
Ooh. Well, still, there might always be an item on blind, and it's a fairly quick dungeon, so makes still not necessarily a bad play, especially when you're given those big key and small keys so soon.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you. There's our second rod. So pendant Thieves Town definitely possibly needed because we need quite a few places that we need a fire source for.
Yeah, that is very true. Skull Woods being one of those possible places. We don't know if it's a pendant yet, but still, that's something good to have. And if that's is a pendant, we'd still need it for Turtle Rock anyway.
Currently, we don't know Turtle Rock's identity quite yet. We haven't gotten the map for that. We do have 2 of the 3 pendant locations, though.
Yeah, if anything, we just confirmed that the fire rod will be required, just based on the knowledge that we still have to find one more pendant, and we don't know Skullwoods or Turtle Rock yet, so fire rod definitely required at this point.
So blind, as I said earlier, is a bit of a scripted fight. It does require 3 hits per phase in 3 phases, so you really just have to hit him 9 times, regardless of what weapon you choose to use against him.
And yeah, using the Cane of Samaria is a very, very good strat. I actually like using Cane more often than Sword sometimes, just because of the control you have with it. And there is another big progression item right there, the Titan's Mitt. being dropped from blind. So yeah, this was definitely good to see this dungeon through its completion.
Yeah, absolutely. Pendant or not, definitely a necessary dungeon. And Hitaka is right on his heels, so they'll get their goodies too.
Yeah, it looks like Gland is immediately going right back up to Skull Woods. If anything, I think the Mothula fight might be a little more scary with just a level 1 sword and only 6 hearts.
Yeah, and without any half magic too, you do have to hit Moth 8 times with the fire to kill him, and you can't let him bounce into the spikes in the back.
Now, I think he still has his blue potion. He used his red potion earlier, so he may be able to get enough shots with the fire rod with using both like the potion and the fire rod, but he still may want to try to get a few extra hits in with the sword just to make it a little shorter, so he may not have to use that potion.
Chat bring up a good point that it was Skullwoods to Thieves and then back to Skullwoods, so nice little roundabout.
Yeah, definitely.
Much better than, say, Desert to Turtle Rock than back to Desert, for example.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Turtle Rock can get really ridiculous with some of those shuffles it'll have you do. Oh, and actually, yep, taking a death right there. Smart thing to do, because that'll allow him the trouble of walking back to the entrance, so you can just take a death warp and be right there at the start again. Whoa, and we have vanilla flippers on Zora. Taijuu just picking that up.
Given that we need to get into Mire and we need to get into Swamp, that's definitely a nice thing to find for sure.
Or do you mean ice? Because you don't necessarily need the flippers for Mire.
Yeah, I meant to say Ice Palace, thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Could be a interesting fight by Gland here. Not very much magic going to the Moth with.
Yeah, not very magic and already down 2 hearts as well. Still has that blue potion, but like I said, he's trying to do a few sword spins first to get some damage on him, and then he'll probably switch to Fire Rod and maybe use that potion afterwards.
Just gotta be very careful where you hit the Moth. You can't let him bounce into the spikes.
He's using the blue gear right there. Good call, down to 1 heart, and now he's back up to 6.
A really smooth.
Whoa, nice fight.
Sorry about that. A really smooth fight by Hitaka and Blind as well. And Hitaka's going to do the exact same thing, go right back up to Skullwoods.
Did you see what Mothula just dropped right there, though? I think we found our other pendant dungeon.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. But at least Skullwoods is relatively quick, like you said earlier.
Yeah, it's very quick, and you know, when you're in the area, you may as well check it out just to make sure you cross that off your list to never think about it again. Unfortunately, though, the big chest could still be in play, so we may have to come back later when we find that big key, but thankfully it's not too much of a trek, I guess. And yeah, chat actually making a very good point. Now that we know where the 2 pendant dungeons are, are the ones aside from the green one, we actually have all the dungeon information now. So we know what all the crystals are, we know what the 5-6 crystals are from the bond shop, we know what the green pendant is to the Sasharala. Those are really the only two pendants you have to actually figure out in order to know what all the dungeons are going to be.
Yeah, it's nice to be 36 minutes in and having all that kind of information.
So now runners know exactly what they need to actually essentially hit go mode at this point. It's a lot of stuff, a lot of keys will be involved. There's still a lot of items you still have to find and be accounted for, but they can at least start narrowing down what they need, and when they have all that stuff, they can immediately just book it to the end, which is always really nice to do in Keysanity.
See if Hitaka has a similar clean fight against the Moth here. Going with a bit more magic under the belt.
Although they may have to waste quite a bit of it in this room right here.
Yeah, without the lantern, they have to do kind of this room manually with the fire rod. That Gib, though, giving Hitaka a little bit of a run around. There it goes. Okay, so Hitaka gets their key and onto the Moth for Hitaka.
Okay, Glenn, gonna check the item on Stumpy over here. Looks like we're gonna get a big key to Eastern Palace. That's interesting because they don't have he doesn't have lamp yet, but that is still full clear if he knows that dark room, and the fire rod can make that a little easier for him too, in that one dark room with the small key.
Hitaka taking an unfortunate death to the Moth, and they'll take a walk back over there.
Yeah.
Moth is not easy on that low health and without a better sword.
Yeah, I still remember when I was younger and playing this game for the first time. Mothula always gave me trouble. It just was so much to keep track of. Mothula itself, his attacks, the spinning floor, and the spikes. It's just a really, really hard fight, no matter the circumstance.
Just very chaotic, I think is the best word for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it looks like Glenn is heading over to the Eastern check now. Should be able to do quite a bit of work here. It isn't in logic yet because we don't have that lamp, as you said, but between the bow and the fire rod, he should be alright.
Yeah, very true. The first dark room, pretty easy to navigate without a lamp, and the second one, fire rod definitely gives that shortcut because there is a torch you can light. So, yeah, whenever I have the fire rod for this scenario, it's like, okay, well, I'll do this. That way I don't even worry about that second dark room.
Alright, Hitaka going into round 2 versus the Moth. Hopefully have a better run here. TimLobo taking a death, unfortunately, also. Kind of want to try to minimize deaths because you don't want to have to reroute yourself.
Yeah, thankfully in this circumstance that they did opt to not finish up the Mothula fight, I don't think he gave off anything important, so they could skip it without too much of a concern, but they won't know that, and it'll always be on their mind for later.
Hitaka finishing off the Moth on the second attempt, though, so good for Hitaka to finish that one off.
Meanwhile, it looks like Taijuu has been having some difficulties, just kind of navigating. He's taken a number of deaths, which is understandable. Being that low on hearts, especially in the early Dark World section, can be pretty intimidating. When you think about it, when you play the vanilla version of the game, you usually have Master Sword at this point, so the enemies go down a lot faster, and you usually have more than just 6 hearts, so it can definitely be pretty difficult when going through these circumstances.
Yeah, I believe most of the enemies in the Dark World would do between either 2 or 3 hearts of damage with green tuning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, taking a death to a snake bag outside of Skullwoods.
Yeah, and that will unfortunately not give him a spawn point inside the dungeon, so he will have to work his way back up there at some point.
Looks like Hitaka's going to check the peg cave and maybe the purple chest at this point. Yeah, without the mirror, maybe not.
Yeah, that not having that mirror is a huge disincentive, but still, sometimes that may give you the mirror, so you may have to make that check anyway.
Hitaka thought about leaving the heart container behind, but he's like, maybe I need it, and decided to go back and grab it.
Yeah, definitely a good call.
Yeah, when you're 42 minutes into a seed, you only have 6 hearts. It's a little bit on the heart side.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Glan not even needing the but takes a death though. I was gonna say he didn't even need the fire rod, but he got the small key at the very least. He has that, so he doesn't have to worry about fighting the Igors next time.
I don't recall if the dig game had anything of note. I don't believe it did.
No, just a map.
Getting the news that it's the 3 crystal and it's probably like nuts.
And wow, I didn't even notice. TimLobo has already been working through the Eastern Palace, and he's almost at the end. He's going to see the Armos Knight item before Glan will.
Just gotta get past these 2 last Igor, and then, yeah, just quick fight with the Knights. Didn't quite get the quick kill, but that's not going to stop him. This isn't that bad of a fight.
Yeah, when you still get a fast kill, even if it's not the quick kill, I mean, it's still fast, so it's not really a huge thing to really concern yourself with.
So that was our 3rd dungeon completed, but it's our 1st crystal by TimLobo.
And for him, that was actually his first dungeon completed too, since, yeah, he did not finish Thieves Town or Skull Woods. Unfortunately, he will have to go back into Thieves Town, though, to get that Fire Rod and Mitts, but he may just be waiting until he gets a few more hearts or something.
Hitaka finally checking out a Hype Cave, or lack of Hype Cave.
So TimLobo is throwing all caution. Oh wait, never mind. Okay, I thought he was going to maybe check out Pod, but I think he might be doing some pyramid stuff first.
Gotta avoid those murder dactyls. Those things are the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And Hitaka is taking the frog on a world tour today.
Okay, but Glan is taking this opportunity to go after Palace of Darkness. Now, it doesn't have the 4 small keys, but at this point, it may not even be relevant because Palace of Darkness is a pendant dungeon. So because of that, I don't think it's really a bad idea to kind of go in and check it out, maybe try to get a few items that you might need, just because you may not have to come back if you somehow get all the items you do get from here.
Yes, it is a pendant, but at least it's the green pendant, though. That's the that pendant could be worth something at the very least.
That is very true. That's true. But like the way I see it is, at some point they'll come across those other pod small keys anyway. So they'll, if they do have to come back, they'll be led back here at some point. So it's not too bad to check out now.
Never hurts to stick around to a dungeon and see what you can find, especially if it's early.
Yeah, especially this early, and especially in Keysanity. Sometimes that rogue check to get like a Turtle Rock small key, and if your opponent doesn't do that, you may have like 1 extra small key, so you might full clear it before your opponent does. So that's the kind of stuff you have to think about in Keysanity. Every check has some sort of relevance.
Hitaka's already at 3 Turtle Rock keys, so they can pretty much do everything except for that lava chest if they choose to.
Mm-hmm. Still need that big key, though, but yeah, they can get a decent ways through there once they find that. Well, I think I know where all the hearts were being stored. Apparently the Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, this is the Palace of Love tonight, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so with limited keys, you kind of want to work your way around and get what you can without opening as many doors as possible.
Okay, so that thing I said earlier came true. Mirror on the blacksmith.
Very nice pick at first, Hitaka, because that does unlock 2 more dungeons for him.
Yeah, it unlocks those 2 dungeons, and again, like you mentioned earlier, not having the mirror kind of discourages people from doing those side quests, so that is a really, really good find. And there's the lamp in Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, not a ton of dark rooms left. It does put all of Death Mountain into logic form, at least.
Yes, it definitely does. And that could be a very important check coming up here soon, especially for Hitaka with that mirror.
Granted, that first cave up to Death Mountain's one that pretty much anyone can do. It's just very straightforward, other than that one hole.
Yeah.
Looks like Hitaka's going to get KF45 out of the way, which you can't blame him. This cave is one that a lot of people, I don't want to say forget about, but not hit up as often.
Yeah, mirror spots are very, very tricky, just because there's quite a number of them. It's more than just one, for sure, and depending on what you have, many more could follow in very quick succession, so you're going to want to try to take care of those as efficiently as possible.
We do have 3 of the 4 runners in the pod, though. That's interesting.
Well, if they check it, they'll get the Master Sword and the lamp. So Master Sword found in the Dark Waterway.
And we do know we need to get that Master Sword at some point to finish off the pig.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so it looks like Hitaka's trying to get all of the roundabout quests out of the way early, which you can't blame him. That's nothing to do when you don't really want to go into dungeons as much.
Yeah, in this particular scenario, it's definitely paying out. Got the mirror from the blacksmith, and I think it'd be quite humorous if this ended up being the flute or something. So we'll have to see what this will give us with the purple chest.
Nice hammer jump by Glan there.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the flute, but it is a big key to Swamp Palace. May not be required, but when they are going through Swamp, it will give them one more chest to check. We could have a vanilla hook shot after all.
Ice Palace small key, that's one of those keys we don't really care about.
Although I do like going into the Ice Palace with at least one small key, just so I can check those 3 chests on the right side.
Oh, for sure. Definitely nice to have. And Hitaka is making that Death Mountain play without a light source. Well, without the lamp, anyway.
Could be a scenario where Hitaka might have maybe kind of nailed down where the lamp might actually be and is checking kind of some stuff further into the logic and kind of hedging their bets to see if maybe they can get lucky, get some more progression, and then pick up that lamp when they absolutely need it.
Checks the Lumberjack ledge and just sees the money and is glad not to have to target today. Now, just because we don't need to kill Ganon himself, there are 2 chests that are going to be in Castle Tower that we might need.
Yeah, when moving up from playing open mode to Keysanity, that's like the first thing you have to get used to, because in open mode and standard mode, those chests will always be small keys, but in Keysanity, they can be quite literally anything, so definitely want to check those.
I was calling the rest of the day when one of those was the hook shot, which is still elusive today.
Yep, and I've seen hammer there before. Won't come into play here, but it has happened.
So yeah, definitely some value in those 2 chests for sure. Yeah, just a big 20 there, so not much on the ledge drop. But with the big key and the mirror, you'd be able to go into Hera, check the basement, and get the Mold Armor at the very least, and finish this off since it is a crystal.
And with that hammer, they will be able to check the east side of Death Mountain as well, so that's another bonus.
And just a little bit of love on that tablet.
Well, this is definitely a seed where that would be helpful. So if Hitaka finds another sword in here, we could potentially see that heart piece being gotten.
And that's a small key. We'll see where it's for. It is a Tower of Hair small key and Tower of Hair.
How vanilla. How very, very vanilla.
And it does look like Hitaka's gonna do the tower room.
And it also looks like Glenn is in a little dungeon we like to call Ice Palace.
It's a little early for the Ice Palace check, but it's definitely a interesting play for sure.
At this point, though, with that small key and the big key, Glenn will be able to do a full clear without really worrying about like any bomb jumps. So, but I'm sure that with the skill we've seen from him today, that yeah, bomb jumps wouldn't be a problem regardless. But yeah, ice can be full cleared at this point for him.
Ice is one a lot of people tend to put off until they do it into go mode, but just because of how windy it is and how much up and down there is.
Yeah, I see some runners actually going into Ice Palace earlier than that lately just because of that. People want to avoid it, so it's like, well, if there's something in here, I'll have a distinct advantage over my opponent, and that's a very fair gamble to make sometimes.
Stuff was nice, giving Glad just a little bit of issue there, but gets him down. Looks like Taijuu is going to go back into Thieves Town, so definitely going to be happy to find a couple things here. So far, not a ton of note in hair for Hitaka. Not a ton in Ice Palace either, for that matter.
To be fair, though, we've only seen one item in Ice Palace, though. There's still a lot more to go in here.
Oh, for sure. I did not catch what was on Lake Hylia Ledge there, did you?
I did not. I was looking at the Ice Palace play right now.
And everyone's favorite giant worm.
Favorite? Are you sure about that? I didn't agree to that.
The trolliest of worms?
Fair enough. That works.
Well, I just want to step on the top part of the map. Gotta be careful. And down goes the worm.
And he gives off nothing important. Just the compass for Dark Palace.
It is a crystal at least, but other than that, hair was pretty much absolutely dry.
Yeah, it really was. Okay, so unfortunately, Glan did put him in a position here where he does have to make this bomb jump.
Yeah, those little baby jellies are the worst. Nice job. So it's like TimLobo's gonna be doing the going back into Thieves Town to join Taijuu and clearing that out.
Which is a very good play since we know the Fire Rod and the Titan's Mid are at the end of this dungeon, so they had to come back here at some point. Meanwhile, Hitaka is making their way through the east side of Death Mountain. Hera may have been a bust, but there could still be something on this side.
Yeah, Paradox Cave especially has at least 5 chests plus 2 below it. And we have a Riot Shield found by Gland, so Laser Bridge is now in play for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's our big key for Turtle Rock. That's a nice pickup.
Yeah, definitely, since we found a couple of Turtle Rock small keys already, too. Had a key to Misery Mire and Paradox Cave. And the hook shots!
So that puts the rest of Swamp House in play for Hitaka as well.
Yeah, it puts the rest of Swamp House in play. It also puts Dark Death Mountain into play, too. So I imagine that's going to be checked right now.
Yeah, that's a very, very timely hookshot pickup for sure.
Well, I gotta say, if Gland does manage to find another Turtle Rock small key, that'll be a huge, huge advantage to him when he goes up to Turtle Rock, because that could potentially end up being just a one-time dip into Turtle Rock.
I do want to reiterate for people in chat, we are watching 2 separate races simultaneously. It is Hitaka versus TimLobo on the top, and Gland versus Taijuu on the bottom. So there's 2 separate races going on at the same time. All 4 of them are playing the same seed, though, but it is 2 separate races.
Okay, big key to Desert Palace in Super Bunny Cave and 50 rupees. That Desert Palace big key is important. And unfortunately, Gland taking a death at Cold Stare and opts to leave the dungeon to go back and potentially get some potions and just kind of restock and maybe find some other items.
Yeah, Cold Stare can be one of those more challenging fights for sure, just because of how chaotic it can get with those 3 puffs plus the ice balls.
Yeah, when you only have the single magic meter and just Fire Rod, that's your whole magic meter wiped out in one, the first phase. So unfortunately, I had to just rely on Master Sword and Master Sword spins for the rest of it, and just kind of took him off guard at one point.
See what Hookshot Cave bears for us, and that's Blue Mail, so that's a nice pickup.
Yeah, with how cruel the early game was, that Blue Mail is very, very nice to get right about now. We're also going to see what the medallion is for Turtle Rock. It looks like we got the Quake medallion, which they do have right now.
And with 3 keys, the Samaria and Fire Rod, he might be going in there.
Yeah, he will. Oh, well, Gland just picked up his third Turtle Rock small key. But yeah, as we mentioned before, he does not have the big key yet, so finishing Turtle Rock is not in the cards, which is a shame because he has the mirror. He could even check Mimic Cave too, but he can do that regardless. But unfortunately, he'll just be able to get to the big chest and unfortunately not go any further.
And TimLobo did finish off Blind, so Blind is down for Tim, thankfully.
Yep, and he has his Titan's Mitts. Looks like Taijuu did the same.
And it does look like Hitaka is going to venture into Turtle Rock, so definitely interesting play. Yeah, with both rods, the 3 keys, definitely worth doing. You won't be able to get to Trinex as you said earlier, but it's good to get what you can out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always a different story for those who are actually running the seed at that current point than the ones who are watching, because unfortunately we know that the big key is somewhere out below the mountain. But for this point, where he was in the seed, this was probably a good play, just because it gave him some items to check when he was in the area, and Gland picks up his mirror now.
It'll be interesting when Hitaka and Gland decide to go check Zora to get their flippers.
Yeah, that's right. The right side of the race have been the only runners to actually do that so far.
Yeah, it's one of those cases where vanilla items tend to be in the back of your mind of not being there. So when you're looking for a specific item like flippers, Zora's usually going to be one of the last places you check. You don't assume it's going to be there.
Yeah, vanilla keys can also be a big problem of that in Keysanity modes, just because you always kind of think of keys as just roadblocks for dungeons, and you just kind of forget that, oh, they can be in their own dungeons too, so just things you got to think about when going through a seed.
Yeah, it's like a Swamp House. Yeah, that one chest at the start of Swamp House that can have the small key to it, and people won't check it.
Yep. I am glad they fixed that, because in the last version of the logic, that had a 10% chance of happening, and it was always really annoying to go in just for that small key, so thankfully that piece of logic has been fixed since then.
Yeah, so Hitaka did find Blue Bell.
Yep, he found it in the Hookshot Cave.
That's like Glant's new dipping into Terra. Probably won't be too happy with what he finds up here, but at least he'll get it out of the way.
Yeah, I think he might also just be thinking in the corner of his mind about that Turtle Rock play as well, though, because he does have those 3 small keys. He has a big key. He has Mirror for Mimic Cave. He has the rest of the items he needs to complete it, so that would be a pretty good investment to check that out.
And Mimic Cave and a small key to Meyer, so not too much there. Yeah, Hitaka didn't get death to go back to the start of the dungeon. I probably just wanted a life refill.
Yeah, stuff in Turtle Rock really hits hard, especially for, even if he has Blue Mail, it still hits pretty hard.
Yeah, I believe those chain chops do 4 full hearts of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think spike rollers do as well.
Yeah, and at this point, none of our runners actually have the ability to be on their second row of hearts yet, so yeah, with all those high damaging enemies, it's just really, really rough to go through this dungeon.
Hitaka did open the door to check out the lava cave, so they will need all 4 of the Turtle keys.
Yeah, and I don't blame him checking that just because he didn't have the big key. In fact, there was a race earlier today where the big key was in that vanilla chest, so that could be on his mind that, okay, this could be a troll, this could be something. I can't clear this anyway, may as well check this out.
Well, the problem was he died before he got into the chest itself. The beam eye got him.
Yeah, but it looks like he's going back.
Yeah, gonna go the easier route to get there. Can't blame him for that. Yeah, TimLobo turning to the lunchbox. Doesn't get much for it, but he gets a big key to the desert, I believe. Not swamp.
Oh, okay, I see what Hitaka did right there. Hitaka grabbed the chest and then reset, so he didn't save over his progress, so he still has that small key. That's actually kind of smart.
That's very smart. That lets him save that key while knowing that that chest isn't needed for him.
And that's why he died in that one room, so he was setting up the save. Okay, that makes sense. That is actually really smart play.
Rope goat. There was a pet check 5 minutes in, and it's just money. Yeah, Glenn making very nice work of Trolldorm, and Taijuu making very nice work of the Moth. So we got simultaneous boss kills going on.
And with the Desert Pal's big key that he found, Hitaka is going back into Desert to finish it off.
It is a crystal, so you might as well get it out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And if Lemolas have the flute, for example, you won't be able to route in with Myra anyway. There's another pod small key, so that's a nice pickup.
Yeah, there could still be some items in pod still, so yeah, it's good that they're still finding those just in case they do have to go for that green pendant or something.
And TimLobo is also making the play into ice. See if we can see what Colson went ahead. Glenn grabbing their hook shot. Probably definitely happy to see that. Hook shot's one of those items I'd love to get early if possible.
Yeah, it's a really useful tool. It can kill some of the weaker enemies and stun some of the stronger ones, so just a really nice tool to have with you at all times.
And without boots, it does speed up movement a little bit more also.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It looks like that was just a piece of heart up on the floating island, so nothing there. I didn't catch it the first time we passed it.
Ooh, really, really nice one cycle on Nola's fight from Hitaka. And gets a big key to Misery Mire. That is very, very important. That is the one key you definitely need for sure to get through Misery Mire full clear.
Yeah, we still need that elusive flute, but at least Mire is now completable. So Desert was necessary definitely before going to Mire.
And here we have with Glan making that step in the Turtle Rock. He is going to be able to check a little more than what Hitaka was earlier with that big key.
We are still missing 2 medallions still, so we don't know if we can even get into into Mire at this point, but hopefully we can. Yeah, it looks like Hitaka's gonna make their way over to Palace of Darkness now. Overall, I really like Hitaka's routing strategy.
Yeah, he's been making some very, very good calls, and he's even employed some strats I would have thought of, like the Turtle Rock big chest check without wasting the key. That was really, really good. I'm still blown away by that one small thing he did right there.
With 5 keys under his belt, should be feeling pretty good about going to pot at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Means he can pretty much, full clear the place, not spend a key on that first door, and then just do the whole dungeon, get that green pendant if he wants to check that out, and pretty much go from there. But first, Eastern.
Yeah, Eastern's pretty much finished, so it's just a quick check on the big chest and then right to the back. Well, no, because he doesn't have the big key yet.
Oh, yeah, okay, he has not. Well,
could have sworn something.
Yeah, he didn't go for those other chests, though, so he had to have been here at some point. Maybe he does have the big key. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think it was just a tracking miss.
Yeah, with the Keysanity, and it actually like doubles the amount of work the our trackers behind the scenes have to do. So it's very impressive that they keep up as much as they do. So definitely shout out to both of them.
Yeah, it happens. It definitely happens.
Still no light source, but as you said, you got that quick candle light. Makes this room a little bit easier.
Yeah, and he'll be getting his lamp very, very soon anyway, when he makes that dip in the pot anyway.
We're approaching the part for Glan of what Hitaka couldn't do, so we actually see what he picks up here.
Yeah, first up we have Mimic Cave, probably the location of one of the more trolly heart pieces in the vanilla game. In this game, it has just one item, but still, there have been items on these locations.
I want to say this was money, but I'm not positive. No, it was a key to Misery Mire. Hitaka did check that, I forgot.
Oh, he did? Okay, my bad. Yeah, he did. Actually, no, I don't think he had the mirror before.
No, Hitaka was the first person to get the mirror.
You're probably right.
And that's just a heart container there, so not too much item-wise. See if Trinax holds anything nice for us. And that's Tempered Sword. That's a nice pickup.
Yeah, really, really good to get here, especially before Trinex, because Master Sword Trinex with only like normal magic meter is pretty rough. So having that Tempered Sword will help out a tremendous amount.
And TimLobo is onto the Cold Star now. See if we can see what item the Cold Star holds for us. Glenn did take a death to Cold Star when he was here earlier.
Whoa! I have never seen that strat before.
Glenn ignoring the laser bridge for now and getting that emergency door open. Nice little halfway checkpoint. I like TimLobo's play here, getting the ice blocks that despawn in the top ceiling.
Yeah, like, that was really, really cool.
Gotta let Cold Star just come to him though. And now Glenn is going down to Trinex to finish him off.
And Hitaka is about to grab his lamp.
We still have yet to find the big key for Palace of Darkness, so we won't be able to do a Helmet Sword yet.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
And nice Trinex overall. Glenn takes down the big worm. Or lizard, whatever you want to call him.
Unfortunately, Trinex did not drop anything important, but at the end of the day, that Tempered Sword, I think, will be a huge sigh of relief for the rest of the seed. For Glenn, anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. It is right on the path, though, so I think all four will grab it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And Taijuu is making the dip in the swamp, so we haven't seen swamp yet. See what's down here.
Yeah, it looks like TimLobo is also making the same play going in the swamp. Unfortunately, those two runners do not have the hook shot, and the hook shot has been obtained by the other two.
Yeah, so that makes the back part inaccessible, and it makes the left side a little bit trickier. Nice bomb jump by Hitaka there. And Glenn grabbing their red mail. I did not see them where the second mail was. Did you?
No, I did not. May have been in Turtle Rock then. Okay, Bombos in Swamp. And apparently the flute was in the big chest in Swamp, so Lobo will be getting that as well.
It looks like our blue mail was on the laser bridge. Hitaka's probably going to make their way down to the swamp at this point. Nope, going... I don't know where they're going.
Maybe the 2 chests in the Ganon Tower? I don't think we've seen those yet.
Has no keys yet, though.
Oh, that's true, but get the first one at the very least.
Oh, he's dragging that dark chest in the sewer.
Right.
Yeah, it was just a map down there, so not too much of worth. Yeah, and Swamp having our 4th Turtle Rock key.
Okay, so if Hitaka goes to Swamp, which is very, very likely, especially soon, so these kind of run out of options, that could send them right back up to Turtle Rock to finish off what's left of there, so that's good.
Yeah, TimLobo does get their flute.
Although Hitaka still needs to go to Ice Palace to get the big key for Turtle Rock, I believe. I think that's where it was.
Left side of Swamp not having too much of value. Glenn grabbing their big key to Swamp.
Also going to see what's on the Bombos tablet over here, and after that, we could potentially see a Swamp Palace play from him.
I think TimLobo's drawn the key.
I think he did, but at this point, it doesn't really matter too much. Oh, no, he couldn't have drawn the key because he can't get the other key because he doesn't have hookshot. So I think that was the first. He got that key already. Because you need a small key to get into that switch room.
Gotcha. I just looking at his key count. It said 0 when you push the lever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like Hitaka's putting on a Swamp still. Probably wants to do it in go mode if possible. It has to be said that Hitaka and Glenn still need to go up to Zora to get their flippers. That's probably why they haven't checked Swamp. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, they still have the whole Zora area to check.
And with Swamp blocking Meyer, that takes Meyer out of the equation also.
Yep, that's true. It's very, very interesting how our right runners have flippers but no hookshot, and then the left runners have hookshot but no flippers.
At least with that mushroom, that might send Hitaka over to that section of the map now.
That's true, yeah. That's a huge incentive for heading in that direction, so that might put that back in his mind at the very least.
Might be checking the Thieves Town big chest, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, they're going north. Graveyard ledge, probably. Yeah, probably doing a Graveyard ledge in King's Tomb at this point.
Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and say this, and chat, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think at this point, all of the items for Go Mode have been accounted for at some point, because the only thing we still need to figure out, though, is that medallion for Misery Mire, but after that, I think everything else is accounted for.
Yeah, it does look like you're correct. We don't really need boots unless there's we have the Gans Tower key, so yeah, you should be accurate.
Yeah, it's really just that medallion at this point. That's really the only thing we need to know for sure. And the flute has been picked up, so we can find that out pretty quickly once it gets activated and everything.
It does look like Tim's heading over to activate their flute, so we'll see if he hops over that section of the map.
Because if it's Quake, all of our runners have Quake. Bombos is in Swamp, so they'll get the Bombos when they get their flute anyway. So yeah, it all depends on that ether at this point. And of course, they have to pick up other items if they don't have them yet. There are a few differences here and there.
Yeah, so that mushroom did send Hitaka over to that part of the map, so hopefully they remember to go north after this and check out Zara.
Yeah. Okay, we have TimLobo in the Mire area.
Yeah, and Hitaka is going up to Zora, so they'll be definitely happy to see their flippers now.
Medallion is Quake!
Alright, so Ether and Bombos not necessarily needed. Bombos is nice for Cold Star, but that's about it.
Sarah Zelda, both are 0-1, so this match is very, very important for all runners involved.
And that's a small key on Zora's ledge, so they'll probably pick that up also. Surprising to pop into the Waterfall of Wishing. And there's a cave, a checkerboard cave.
Well, he couldn't exactly hop into the waterfall because he doesn't have the flippers yet, and would have to go do the water walk glitch on the other side of the map just to do that.
Yes, that is true. Oh, so you won't be able to get that key down the ledge either? That's a bummer.
Well, he will now.
Nah, good call. And toss him to our bomb. Choosing to leave the key and that waterfall cave behind, that's interesting. Our track and math girl pointing out that we do have most of the small keys that we need at this point, so probably does know that that key is nothing of note.
Yeah, the small keys are pretty negligible at this point. T-Stew for 14, the flute is in Swamp Palace in the big chest. And it looks like Hitaka is en route to go to that exact location, so yeah, that is very, very good for him.
And TimLobo is going up towards Death Mountain, and Taijuu is saying hello to Moldorm.
And Moldorm is saying, no, I don't want any of that, and knocks him out of the arena, but he's jumping back down anyway. He'll be taken out Mothula. Or, no, Moldorm, no.
Molarman is having none of Taijuu at the moment. And down goes the worm. Hitaka is now into Swamp to full clear that. They have everything they need to finish off the dungeon. TimLobo is now going throughout Hera. Won't get a ton here, but it's a crystal, so it is something we have to do anyway.
Yeah. And Gland is going back to have his rematch with Cold Stare.
Having the red tunic under his belt now, definitely a little bit more survivability, plus a lot more hearts.
Yeah.
And Hitaka seeing the flute and saying, "Oh, that's where you've been hiding the soul seed."
Okay, so at this point, Hitaka is just a Turtle Rock Big Key away from Go Mode, and that is in Ice Palace, which he still has to go to. So Hitaka should be the first one to hit Go Mode at this point, I imagine. Although Glan is not far behind.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, Hitaka is racing TimLobo, and Glan is racing Taijuu. So it is two separate races.
Yes, two separate races. So between Hitaka and Glan, it's not going to matter who finishes first amongst those two. They're going to be racing their opponents, which are on the right side. But in terms of the overall race, anyway, that's the current standings.
Yeah, I think Hitaka and Glan are definitely going to finish relatively close to each other for sure.
Mm-hmm. Just a matter of revisiting the other dungeon that the other runner is in at this point.
Well, Glan, I was just say Glan might have to go up to Azor, but it looks like Glan did get his flippers. I didn't see him go up to Azor.
Oh, you're right. Oh wait, yeah, he has flippers on his tracker.
I don't recall him going to Azor unless I missed it. We'll check next time he pauses.
Yeah, he went right before he went to Ice. That's how he got there. So
gotcha.
Actually, one thing I did not account for is that technically Glan has finished Turtle Rock already, so he didn't have to really do anything in Ice Palace, so he is technically the overall leader at this point, I'd say. But yeah, Hitaka is not too far behind, because once he gets that big key, he'll be in Go Mode as well.
And Hitaka knows he really just needs to stop it all in Turtle Rock. He can just pretty much run up it.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully he grabs that tempered sword, though, along the way.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he stops at the ones he didn't check on this first pass, but there's only 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah. Okay, so that is crystal number 5 for Glan. Just has Swamp and Mire remaining. Funnily enough, the two 5 and 6 crystals, so Pyramid Fairy will not be coming into play, really, at all.
I mean, they have everything they need to beat the seed, other than possibly silver, which would be nice, but it's a luxury item at this point.
Yeah.
Well, Hitaka would need silver, so if they don't get tempered.
Okay, so Glenn is making his way over to Swamp Palace. He'll be in Go mode very, very, very soon. And yes, we have not found the 4th sword upgrade yet, so it is going to be hiding somewhere in the world. Could be in Mire, could be in Ganon's Tower. Hard to say at this point.
Yeah, well, the odds are we probably won't even see it, given that they'll just be fast clearing dungeons at this point. And TimLobo taking down Moldarm. So Moldarm not taking any casualties today as far as knockoffs.
Major props to Tim, though, for doing so much of this seed with just the fighter sword. Especially when Cold Stare is one of those fights.
Yeah, that glitch of he did at the very beginning of the fight was definitely interesting to see. I don't know if you would call it a glitch so much as RNG manipulation.
Yeah.
Then Argus goes down, Crystal obtained.
Now that is actually Hitaka's 4th crystal, so Hitaka still, in addition to Ice Palace and Mire, also has Turtle Rock to go back through as well, so a little bit behind and still needs that big key for Turtle Rock, which he should be getting very soon. He looks like he is heading over to Ice now, so he'll be getting that not too long from now.
Yeah, I think it was Flippers mostly that was holding Hitaka up a bit.
Yeah, Flippers for sure.
Yeah, that's just a big 20 on Highly and Ledge that I missed earlier. So nothing of note, really.
And in less than 10 seconds, Glan should be in Go mode at probably around the 1 hour 43 mark. Maybe a little before that, but... Oh, no, I'm going to check this bottom room first.
Hitaka making very nice work of Ice Palace.
And yep, immediately, not even bothering at the left side of Swamp. Glan knows he's in Go mode at this point, so he is going to be rushing through the rest of this. Going to be rushing through Mire, and then heading straight to the end.
Yeah, Mire's one of those dungeons that it's always nice to go to last, just because it can be very, very fast.
Okay, Chad does make a good point. He does not necessarily know he's in Go mode, because he hasn't seen the Mire medallion yet, but we definitely know that he is. And when you have 2 of the 3 medallions, it's usually a pretty reasonable guess that you might be, but that is true. He's technically not, but we know he is.
Yeah, 66% chance, so... Gotta be feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, the 66% chance, and then you also consider that, well, medallions could easily be in Ganon's Tower. Like, 2 is honestly more safe, more of a safe bet you can make at that point.
Now you'll see a much quicker Arcus fight without having to do with the multiple sword stabs. Very, very nice Arcus fight by Glenn there.
Okay, that is crystal number 6 for Glenn. And right as he gets that crystal, Hitaka finds his Go Mode item, which is the Turtle Rock Big Key. He knows that, or he should know anyway, that he has everything else he needs to finish this seed.
We're just having the same boat. He hasn't seen the Meyer medallion yet.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, well. Never
but
mind
again,
then.
He's feeling good about it.
Yes, yeah. That's the one thing you could say. It's feeling pretty good about that find regardless.
And it looks like Glenn's gonna be unlocking the swag duck.
Here's where routing an Ice Palace after Swamp was a particularly good idea in this seed. You actually have bombos to break the Ice Shovel bolts there, so you have a few more shots with the Fire Rod to work with.
All in all, a very nice fight by Hitaka.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Glenn is going to see it in just a moment. He's very certain right now as it is, and there it is. He knows he's good. He is going to be heading straight to the end now.
Yeah, okay, so now at 47 and change, Glenn knows he's in go mode.
And Misery Mire, actually a pretty quick dungeon to clear when you already have the big key, so this will not take very long. And then, of course, Ganon's Tower won't take as long, considering you also won't have to check any of the chests in there, too. So I would not be surprised to see this seed take less than the 2-hour mark for him, but we'll see. Could run into some problems in Ganon's Tower, I suppose.
Hitaka also unlocking their flute. And TimLobo is up into Turtle Rock now, so 4 keys and the big key will be able to fully finish it off. And Hitaka's right, and Glenn Seal is going into Meyer.
Looks like he is going to check out these chests here, which, I mean, if these end up being silvers, but I don't think they are, this could be beneficial. It is more health, though.
We never did find that up, House of Darkness big key.
No, we never did, so at this point, I'm willing to bet that it's probably in Ganon's Tower, or probably even in Misery Mire for that matter, but doesn't matter. That did not need to be checked regardless.
Yeah, for sure. I just, for the sake of completion.
Right, right. I'm definitely someone who likes to go through the seeds after I'm done with them just to find out where everything was. To kind of also assume like what the logic was trying to tell you about the seed in question. So I can understand wanting to know that information.
Well, it just helps your future routing of what the game wants you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice Vitreous fight. Took some intentional damage, but definitely nothing to worry about.
Yeah. There we go. Glan has all 7 crystals. He's going to be heading up to Ganon's tower. And I believe, like, because we've already found the Ganon's tower big key, no guessing games. That is not a thing that really happens in Keysanity unless for some reason there's a possibility for the big key to be in Ganon's tower. But let's just reflect on the idea that Ganon's tower big key was in the back of the tavern. Why was it there? I have no idea, but that's where it was.
Ganon got drunk at the bar, possibly.
Okay, I'm okay with that explanation.
Or possibly agging him as he went to kidnap Zelda, stop to have a drink first. We would be remiss in saying, please give all 4 of these runners a follow. They definitely deserve the support. This was a very fun race to watch.
It really was, and there were like a lot of like I think one of the things that made this race interesting for me to watch is just how different the routes were in going through everything, because it seemed like both the left side runners and the right side runners had their own way of going through this particular seed, and it was interesting to see how they all kind of converged at the end. Unfortunately for the ones on the right, it looks like the left side runners are kind of a little bit further ahead, but still, like having those flippers very early definitely opened some other possibilities for different routes they could have taken. And you know, it's really hard to call like what would be the most optimal route through a seed, but it's always fun thinking about it at the very least.
Hitaka's got to be a little careful not to get too many lightning beams to the face. Those still do a lot of damage. Alright, and Hitaka takes down Vitreous. A little bit messy, but definitely handled pretty well.
Now that is only Hitaka's 6 crystals, so Hitaka will have to take a step back into Turtle Rock, and while he's going through Turtle Rock, send him your energy to check that one chest in the roller room so he can get that tempered sword, because that'll make his run a lot easier for the ending parts of this.
If not, you'll probably have to do a tempered Master Sword Silverless Ganon, which is no fun at all.
Definitely not. It's the slowest of all the Ganon fights for sure.
See how Glan's tower climb goes. With the skills he's shown so far tonight, this should be very quick for him.
Mm-hmm.
And Taijuu is going to Mire. Does not have the big key, so he'll... never mind, this is.
Looking at, we spent a lot of time focusing on the left side runners. On the right side runners in particular, looking at the go mode possibilities here, At this point, TimLobo, what he's looking for is he's looking for that Misery Mire Big Key, which he will get from the completion of this particular dungeon. And did I see that he had a blue sword? It's not marked on the tracker, but does he have Master Sword?
We'll see momentarily, I'm sure.
Because if he still has Fighter Sword, obviously he'll be wanting a Master Sword too. So that's pretty much what he needs for Go mode at this point. Taijuu still needs a couple of things. He needs the Misery Mire Big Key, which he should be getting very soon, and the Turtle Rock Big Key, which he'll get when he goes to Ice Palace. Aside from that, though, those are what they need to essentially head to the end here.
Yeah, it does look like TimLobo does have a Master Sword.
Okay. So that's a little more comforting, for sure.
Yeah, Tim does get his Mire Key, so definitely happy to see that, I'm sure.
Another thing that would really help Tim out is the lamp. According to his tracker, he does not have the lamp yet either, so unless he knows his dark rooms, those could pose a problem as well.
I know he was in pod earlier.
Yeah.
I wonder if he just missed that chest.
I'm wondering if that's also where he didn't get the other sword that was there, because I think he has the other two swords at this point.
Moment of truth coming for our Hitaka. They get close to the roller bridge room.
Okay, check the chest, Hitaka. Check the chest. It looks like he might be, because he has his item out, so... Okay, good. He's gonna have a much better fight from Ganon now.
Yeah, you could probably hear his sigh of relief from here.
Yeah, I could see from those slashes. Those weren't just rage slashes, those were a bit of relief slashes, too.
Yeah, I think those are happiness slashes more than anything else at this point. Spin attacking Ganon is no fun at all. Boulder Arm 2, let's see if he takes a victim on this side of him. Oh, down goes the worm. That's a quick fight with Axiom 2, and that's onto the big pig for Glan.
It's kind of funny that Glan just finished a fight with a worm. Taijuu's currently battling sandworms, and Trinex kind of moves around like a worm sometimes, so kind of a giant worm party right now.
Well, Trinex's third form is kind of a worm, so yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice Trinex fight by Hitaka there. And now with the hook shot, TimLobo can go deeper in the swamp.
Agatu goes down.
Alright, Kirby. What do you think Ganon's facts will be today?
Let's see. I'm gonna go with the burrito one.
I think we're gonna get some cheese facts.
I love the cheese facts one. That's a good one. Oh, wow.
and it was cheese facts.
It was cheese facts.
Ganon, of course, being a pig, is a cheese connoisseur, so...
Yeah. But yeah, the Ganon text, probably one of my favorite editions of the randomizer. Have all kinds of interesting flavor text, facts about cheese and gastropods. There's even a Pink Floyd song lyric for one of them as well. So just like a lot of cool things programmed by the community.
Reference to Link's Awakening.
Mm-hmm.
Glenn unfortunately taking a death.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's not too bad though. Immediately jump right back into the fight.
And TimLobo is dealing with Argus. Gotta do 2 slashes per puff out with the Master Sword. So yeah, again gives the hint to where silvers are and see if it's actually helpful with it instead of just a general location. And TimLobo grabbing the crystal here out of swamp.
Misery Mire, and it looks like Taijuu is kind of going through Mire for a bit, so he may actually run into him.
So what Glenn has to do now is time his spin selection so right as Ganon teleports to release his spin, so that way he can actually hit him while his invincibility is down.
Yeah, it can be kind of a tricky strat to learn at first, but once you kind of have an idea for the timing, it's honestly not too bad. I definitely recommend trying to learn Silverless if you ever get the chance to. Even if it's a case where you have silvers, like try a run where you don't use them. It'll give you some really good practice for it. Ooh.
Unfortunate fall there. I would think that falling is actually a little bit worse than dying, because at least you have when you die, you gotta come back with a nearly full array of hearts.
Yeah, in this particular case, it definitely wasn't a good fall, because he was also pretty far into the last phase as well, so it is very unfortunate, but he's going to pick up some potions and get ready for round 2, or round 3 actually, because he died before.
Again, it can be quite annoying to do the spin slashes on, so if you're not practiced, it's definitely viable about how it can give some people some issues.
Hitaka is definitely catching up quite a bit, but we do need to remind you that Hitaka is not necessarily... his result against Glan will not be important, since Hitaka's opponent is TimLobo, and Glan is racing against Taijuu, so the lead between those two on the left doesn't really necessarily matter between those two.
No, we are watching 2 races simultaneously, basically.
Yes, that's correct. And yes, Taijuu did pick up his silver arrows, so Taijuu does have those now. Unfortunately, it is coming at a point where Glan is already in the Ganon fight still. If he does want to finish the seed, he will have an easier time with the Ganon fight, if he finds that tempered anyway.
Yeah, Glenn just has to be a little more careful on this last phase here, not to get dropped back into the hole.
And yep, looks like TimLobo has his silvers as well. So they were in the chest above the tile torture room.
Glenn needs to be careful, never out of magic here.
He has potions though, so not too worried about it.
That's true.
Yes, in chat, it takes 12 tempered spins, and also 12 spins with gold sword, because with gold sword and tempered sword, the spins do the same damage to Ganon here. And for Master Sword, it's 24, so you definitely want to have a better sword before you try to do silverless on this.
And Hitaka is making their way down to the big pig now also.
Right as Gland finishes Ganon.
Yep, so Gland will now go to 1-1, and Taijuu will drop down to 0-2. They both will have 3 more matches in this tournament, though.
That's right. There are still 3 weeks of the tournament left. Unfortunately, though, for Taijuu, because he does hit 2 losses, he will not be able to qualify for the big tiebreaker race that will be happening at the end of the 5 weeks, where basically anyone who has a 4-1 record will compete for the last spot remaining from all the other racers that go 5-0. So very important that Gland won this race, as it does keep his tournament life alive for a bit longer.
Taijuu will be able to play next week, though, so just for pride at this point.
Yeah, that's the point. You can still do your matches, and honestly, I'd recommend still doing your matches, even if you do fall below that barrier, just for, just the thrill of having these one-on-one races. They're a lot of fun, and they give you some good practice in for future tournaments as well.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how far this community has come just in the last year alone, from where it was to now having a tournament that has 208 people in it.
For sure. Also, chat point out, Hitaka did pick up half magic somewhere. I did not see where that was.
Yeah, I did not notice that either. Gonna make their game fight a little bit faster, though, not having to worry about magic as much.
Okay, looks like Lan will be coming in for an interview, just taking a break for a minute just to kind of get his head kind of together after that seed.
Yeah, I can't blame him. Get up and stretch for a second.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and TimLobo is going back to the Moth now to finish the Moth off. Yeah, not quite sure what TimLobo was looking for. We know the Moth wasn't really necessary. Yeah, Hitaka has finished the big pig.
At this point, I'm not really sure either, because according to his items, he does have everything he needs for go mode. At this point, he's probably just looking for a sword, if he's not comfortable with Master Sword, even with silvers, or maybe just doesn't have skull marked as a pendant crystal, might think this is a crystal or something.
Alright, and now we do have both Gland and Hitaka in chat with us. GG to both of you, well played, and good luck, and congratulations on going 1-1.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what did you guys think overall of that seed?
Vanilla flippers.
The seed was okay. I was kind of distracted by my very sloppy execution.
Yeah, my execution was also pretty bad. You saw what happened in Skullwoods. I thought I would just go for it as soon as I got Fire Rod in Thieves Town, and then I died on Mothula, and then it turned out to be a pendant anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, I remember that now. I had to think for a second, because it has been a pretty lengthy season, and that was one of the first things that happened in the race, but yeah, okay, that's right.
Yeah,
Did anyone find boots?
No, all 4 of you don't even found boots.
And both of your opponents did find Silvers and Misery Mire, but unfortunately both of you were at the Ganon fight at the time they found them, so it was kind of a negligible thing, but they did find them. It was the chest above the torch room, tile room, Mire.
Okay.
Yeah, by the time I hit go mode, I thought I was like way behind because of the sloppiness and how late I found flippers, so I just went for it. I said, I can do silverless, forget it, let's just go. But I was really, really happy when I found Tempered in Roller Room.
Yeah, me too.
We saw you bomb Zora when you picked up the flippers.
Oh yeah.
He had that coming to him.
And I do have to ask, are you honestly surprised that not just like beating your opponent, but also just first overall Glan with the unfortunate death to Cold Stare? Did that kind of take you by surprise?
That... Yeah, I mean, that cost me a lot of time. I can't say I expected that I would still die after buying 2 blue potions. But... things happen.
Yeah, and like, I mean, honestly, you can't really be blamed too much. I mean, they were very, very stingy with the hearts early on in this seed, and you had green mail for a really long time too, and only having Master Sword at that point too must have not been the best of circumstances for that fight.
And normally I'm pretty comfortable with Hammer or Master Sword, but having missed the initial spin, that just kind of threw me completely off.
Hitaka, we saw you picked up half magic somewhere. Where was that? Because we all missed it.
It was one of the baby Helmasaur rooms in Ganon's Tower.
Oh, okay, okay.
I was still grabbing stuff on the off chance I found silvers, so...
Right.
Oh, speaking of that, something funny happened. I forgot to kill the baby Helmasaurs for a small key, but I got a Ganon's Tower small key in the next room, the Pegs room.
Oh, wow, I did not even notice that.
Yeah, that happened again. In a race yesterday, that happened. And they actually didn't have any small keys. That was a save. It wasn't for me, but it was still funny.
One thing that we did see of note that we were both impressed by and we both commented on was your first trip in the Turtle Rock, how you cleared out most of it, checked out that lava chest, and then reset the game to save the keys. So that was definitely well played.
Yeah, I got burned by that in a practice race a couple days ago, so yeah. Not this time. Although it wound up not mattering. I had all the TR keys when I went back in to kill Trinex. But you never know.
Yeah. Honestly, like I like you said, I was very, very impressed by that strat. That's something I actually might start doing myself, to be honest, because yeah, that chest is always just a huge concern whenever you go through Turtle Rock. You just never want to check it on the off chance you can just full clear the rest of the dungeon, but there are times when it does have something. In fact, today I think it actually had the big key to Turtle Rock in an earlier race today.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
That actually reminds me of the mirror was just... that was so trolly for me.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Smith Mirror.
Yeah.
It was just an of course moment. Because I was planning to, after Thieves Town and Skullwoods there, I was planning to go over to Pod, and so I decided I'm not going to bother picking up the frog. And then I didn't want to go back there mirrorless just to grab the frog, because that would be a huge amount of time for one item. But I mean, it just got down to that. That's one of the last locations I can check.
Yeah, that's... people always just tend to not want to do that until they have mirror, but then there's always the seeds where it does have mirror, and it just kind of throws like any routing you had out the window.
All right, so you are both 1-1. You're both still alive as far as the play and race skin goes. So I want to wish you guys both best of luck into next week. It'll definitely be a lot of fun to watch you guys race.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But yeah, really what the biggest determining factor I think it was in this particular race, yeah, both of you actually went a really long time without the flippers, but you both also opted to make the Death Mountain play a lot sooner, so while you had the hook shots, your opponents didn't, and the hook shot kind of led to them taking a bit longer, and also having the double dip swamp, which is also just kind of a pretty decent time waste when you don't have all the items. So that was kind of pretty much the clincher for both of you, at least in terms of this particular race setup.
Yeah, and when I got the mirror, that just gave me the entire Death Mountain access. I had the Hera big key, the Turtle Rock big key, all the items for Turtle Rock, all the keys for Turtle Rock. And so that was the logical thing to do, just clear out the entire mountain in one go.
Well, that was a great play for both of you, and that definitely helped in this particular seed for sure.
Did anyone get flippers early, either from fake flippers or just going to Zora?
Tim and Taijuu both got them relatively quick, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I like to not bother with the Ice Rod Cave with the one that gives you early desert access.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never got to that fake flipper point, except for when I want to go to ice. So, yeah, it really made the flippers late.
Yeah, thankfully we found out 5 minutes in that powder still wasn't needed. And then we found out very quickly that Aghanim 1 wasn't needed, so that was probably a sigh of relief for both of those accounts.
Yeah, the pet hype died real quick in this one.
Yeah, the pedestal died, and also just getting, like, immediately the 2 other pendants right away also just kind of put you in a state of knowing pretty much exactly what you needed for the rest of the seed in terms of keys, and for the most part items. You obviously didn't know the Meyer requirements until you finally got the flute, but, I mean, you had the other 2 medallions by that point, so it was pretty safe bet that you had them at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually took a bit of a chance on that one because when I got the Turtle Rock big key in ice, that was go mode for me, and I just skipped out on the rest of ice and said, I hope that ether is not, I didn't have ether. No one got ether.
Nope, no one did.
But yeah, I just said, I hope Meyer's not ether and left, so that worked out.
Yeah, the flute was go mode for me, and I still did the back checks in Swamp, but not the left. Just hoping it wouldn't be ether.
It's actually kind of funny looking at both of your screens right now. Hitaka actually has a smaller game time, or a shorter game time, just because of that reset in Turtle Rock. But wow, pretty similar item collection rates, 144, 145. Really, that's really nice for Keysanity, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It is.
Looking back on our current runners that are still going through it, TimLobo did take a death to Vitreous, and he's just about back at the Giant Eyeball. And Taijuu is just about finished off with Ice Palace now.
Yeah, and it looks like from this perspective, it's just these 2 dungeons and then back to Turtle Rock for both of them, and then they'll be essentially on their way. Taijuu still needs the big key from Turtle Rock, but that's somewhere in this dungeon, so you'll grab that very soon. And TimLobo is pretty much in go mode. Just hope he once again gets that last sword chest.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate if he skipped it.
Taijuu, unfortunately, blowing himself into the pit.
Ooh, yeah, and that's going to be a death right there.
Do you know what the 4th sword is?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, the only ones we know of are the one in Pod, the one in Ice Palace, and the one in Turtle Rock. I did not find that 4th one.
Wait, there's one in Ice Palace?
I'm pretty sure there was.
Because there was one in Escape. That was the first one I got.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, you're right. There's not one in Ice. I'm thinking of something else. My bad. There's probably one in Ganon's Tower then.
Yeah, I assume Ganon's Tower had boots in the other sword.
Yeah, that or just some crazy fetch quest item that would lead him to those anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, between the four of you, things that we didn't find were powder, boots, shovel, ether, and the can of brine.
Yeah, we didn't really get any fetch quests.
Where was Cape?
Oh shoot. where was
Cape was Checkerboard Cave.
Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you two were in go mode at that point, so you didn't even really need to check those.
Yeah, I checked Meyer Shed, but I didn't want to go all the way over to Checkerboard Cave, so...
Mm-hmm. Okay, so TimLobo is heading back into Turtle Rock.
Taijuu having a little bit of problem on the bomb jump here.
Oh, he got it, but then just accidentally stepped off the wrong side of the platform.
I do want to say one more special thanks to our behind-the-scenes crew of MathGirl718 and Sigma for the fantastic job in tracking for us today. We really appreciate you both. And of course, Fiesel and the Speed Gaming family for putting on this tournament.
And of course, also thanks to all of the runners as well for this race, for putting on a great show. Very, very entertaining to watch, and it's been a very, very nice seed. Not necessarily in the health department early on, but once you kind of got things going, it kind of remedied itself a little bit.
Yeah, it was once we got into Palace of Darkness where we found all the heart containers.
Right, yeah. Oh, okay, so apparently the sword in Turtle Rock, TimLobo actually has already. So there is another sword that he did not pick up. Probably the one in Palace of Darkness, then.
I think it was in the dark basement, if I'm remembering right.
Yes, it was, and I think that Tim may have just grabbed the lamp and left because he didn't get the lamp until very, very late, so I think that's pretty much all he was looking for at that point.
Yeah, he bombed that chest quite a few times too, so he was not happy to see that lamp.
Yeah, that was a bit of a funny lamp to see.
Yeah. I didn't really need it that much because I just did Dark, Death Mountain, and that was the only real lamp thing that was important, I think. But it definitely pays to learn dark room navigation.
Yeah.
At least for some of the simpler rooms.
Alright, there's our red mail we just saw officially.
Yeah, I really like the Vanilla Hera small key to 3 bombs.
Oh yeah, that was good.
It's a quality troll.
Yeah, I remember
The
that.
red mail.
Ooh, Taijuu takes a death to Cold Stare.
TimLobo is now closing in on Trinex to finish that off. That's just a quick climb up the tower for Tim.
And it looks like Taijuu is going back to Palace of Darkness.
Tim's gonna be a little careful with his magic usage here. Alright, he does have a potion though.
I'm not even sure where to get a full magic refill without boost, other than using a potion. Super Bunny Cave, but that's really out of the way.
I believe at the safety door, I guess, at the Turtle Rock Laser Bridge. I think if you mirror outside, you have that portal there, and you can actually land there from the top of Light World. So if you just do not get rid of that portal, you can just hop back down there and find magic elsewhere.
Alright, TimLobo takes buff both smaller hairs of Trinex, thankfully before using that last potion. Must be a little bit careful because Trinex still does quite a bit of damage, even on a red tunic.
And he gets them. Okay, so that is 7 crystals for TimLobo. He is going to be on his way to Ganon's Tower. Was at least refreshing that you guys didn't have to find the big key to Ganon's Tower at all. They just threw that to you immediately.
Yeah, it's nice to get that out of the way real early.
That was really nice.
Yeah, and of course the Swamp Small Key too was relatively quick.
Yeah.
Where is that again?
I don't remember.
I think it was in...
I believe it was in the Sea House. I think the Swamp Small Key is in the Sea House.
Yeah, I remember it was in Dark World somewhere. I was actually really hoping the Thieves Town Big Chest would have something. Since I got the key before going in. But it was a compass or something.
Yeah, that just didn't pay off. It was kind of a unique situation though, where when you went to Skullwoods first, you got the big key to Thieves Town, and then you got the fire rod from Thieves Town, which just sent you right back in the Skullwoods after you were done with Thieves Town.
Yeah, and they were both pendants.
Yeah, that's right.
There wasn't even anything in the back of Skullwoods.
No, there wasn't.
Should have just not bothered.
At that point, I didn't know it was a pendant, so...
Yep.
Understandable call to go ahead and check that.
Yeah.
Plus, it did give you the basically the crystal pendant setup for the rest of the dungeon, so that's always nice too.
Really nice gauntlet climb so far by Tim here.
Yeah, especially with only Master Sword too.
See if he checks up some more of the chests along the way to try and get that tempered.
Well, we know he'll be getting that half magic at the very least, but since he has silvers, that's probably not a huge concern.
He can utilize it with cape at least.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's right. He could do that.
Anderson, give me 1 second. I will pull up the schedule, but I'm pretty sure, yes, there is. Give me 1 second to get that for you. Yep, we do have one more match coming up at 11 o'clock over on actually on this channel here, between Recitador versus Lyra and Trojan Dude versus JLo. That will be right here in Speed Gaming 4 after this race completes. And TimLobo is getting close to the end of the second climb here.
Yeah, and probably depending on how far Taijuu gets, we may or may not be able to do an interview with him just because of that race coming up, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, there's still some time left before then. We should definitely be able to see Tim's finish, though, at the very least, and maybe get him in for a little bit.
And Tim is checking out a few more chests just to try and get that tempered. Gets his half magic there.
Mm-hmm. He is going to want to be a little careful, though, because he only has 2 hearts at this stage in the tower. And if he dies, that's a long climb to come all the way back up here. And yep, there's that small key, that vanilla small key in the chest right before Moldorm 2.
Slightly out of place. Alright, Morlorn 2 goes down. That's a quick Ganon 2 fight, and that's off to the pig.
Meanwhile, Taijuu does make it back to Cold Stare. So we'll see how his second round fight goes.
Opting to use Bombos this time to break the shell, which is conserving magic just a bit more.
Mm-hmm. And he has some blue potion too, so he can afford to play this fight a little safe.
Got to double on that one. And down goes Ganon 2, and down goes Cold Stare. Oh.
Unfortunately, he does take another death right there. Get a little impatient there at the very end.
And it does look like Taijuu has decided to drop, unfortunately, after that death to Cold Stare. Let's get some GGs in chat, please, for Taijuu. This is a heck of a race for him today. Just a little bit, just a little bit of trouble there with Cold Stare.
Yeah, and again, like, Master Sword at Cold Stare can be a pretty rough fight, so definitely understandable. TimLobo is stocking up on potions before this fight, and we do have Taijuu in the voice channel. I'll go ahead and bring him in. Hey Taijuu, how's it going?
Oh, I've been better. I got a little salty there at the end, and I had glanced over and seen that Glenn had not done about 40 minutes ago, so I kind of just forfeited. Congratulations, man.
Thanks. GG.
I'm definitely glad, though. I'm improving a lot more, but I just got a little trolled, a little too hard. Like I said, I saw you once, so I kind of just quit.
Yeah, understandable. I mean, doing Master Sword Cold Stare is not exactly, I wouldn't say it's easy by any stretch of the imagination. It's
no, but I was so
rough.
close. One more hit, and I know he would have died. I completely had a brain fart because I had the potion, I was getting ready to use it, and then, oh, dead.
Yeah, he seemed like he was kind of like on top of you after you took that one hit, so there's like not much you could have done in that one particular instance.
It happens.
Yeah, it does. It happens to everyone.
It's a learning experience.
Exactly, definitely. Aside from that, though, how did you feel about the seed in regards to items and just the other randomization process?
That first hour was really, really nice to me. I was finding a lot of good items. I was actually surprised that it was cannon flippers. That's never happened to me in a seed yet.
Yeah, I believe you were the first one to actually get the flippers of the
Really?
hunters. Yeah, like both winners of the race actually got those almost as their go mode item. Obviously, they had to get the items inside the swamp still, but like,
Right.
but yeah, like while basically what it came down to in the later part of the races is the right side racers, which were you and Tim, were looking for the hook shot, and the left side were looking for the flippers, and that's kind of how it was at the end there.
I found the hook shot like right there, right before hook shot came, so I was ecstatic to see that.
Yeah, that was a good placement for that.
So you do still have 3 more weeks of the tournament to play out, so it's definitely going to be fun to see you finish off here.
Oh yeah, hopefully next time I can actually finish a race, because this is the second time where unfortunately I rage quit and or forfeited.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, it just practices in self-betterment, so just keep at it, man.
Exactly.
You have the
Thank
skill
you.
to do better. Definitely a lot of fun calling this race today for you.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said definitely keep at it. It was a lot of fun watching the race today, and a lot of fun calling it for you.
Oh yeah, thank you. It's fun racing this because this is my very first like tournament I've entered, so it's a learning experience and it's really fun. I like it a lot.
It really, really is, and it'll just give you more practice for the upcoming tournaments and just racing in a one-on-one format because it's a really much different experience doing one-on-ones versus giant group races. So it's always
Exactly.
good to get that experience.
And you can always go back and watch your like week 1 race and then watch your week 5 race and just see how far you've come in that period of just 5 weeks.
Yeah, I can do that too.
Anyway, it looks like TimLobo is about to hit the final phase of Ganon. Got his silvers, so thankfully won't have to wait out the long series of the silverless fight, but still has to be a little bit careful because he has to spin to stun Ganon, and that could always lead to an unfortunate bounce, so you'll have to be careful in that, right?
Yeah, that happened to me in a run yesterday morning practicing. I accidentally bonked off Ganon and fell down the pit right before he was about to die. It happens.
Gotta be a little bit careful with his magic. I think he does have a potion, though.
I was surprised that the silvers were in Meyer. I almost elected not to check all the chests in there. Because I knew I could have just gone straight for Vitreous, but I'm glad I checked.
Well, one thing that you may have not known, if you actually opted to check Turtle Rock, you would have found a tempered sword in there. So,
I had checked Turtle Rock, but I just didn't have the big key, so I couldn't finish it out.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was thinking that I could go do Ice Palace, since I learned how to bomb jump properly, because that's what got me last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I got past it, but I died on Coldster.
But yeah, it was the tempered sword was in the chest after the big chest in that one roller room, so
Got it.
we didn't find the 4th sword though. No idea where that was. And looks like TimLobo has finished the Ganon fight.
Unless the 4th sword could probably be in Lower Ganon's tower.
Probably, yeah, that's what we kind of expected. Like either there or just some random fetch quest item, or heck, even green for that matter.
Yeah, we went the entire seed without no one finding the boots either.
I noticed that as well. So I wouldn't doubt if those were in the basement either. Alright, but this was fun. Congrats to Glenn for winning our race, and congrats to Kirby for winning his.
Hello, TimLobo. Welcome. GG on finishing the seed. How are you feeling after all of that?
Oof, I'm tired. Man. GG to Hitaka.
Thanks. GG.
Oh, GG to Hitaka, that's right, yeah.
GG.
Yeah, so Tim talks through the seed. It wasn't the easiest seeds for sure.
No, I purposely kept the IRC chat away because I didn't want to know where everybody else was, because I knew that was going to throw off what I did, but man, just bad calls in pod. I don't know.
The vanilla flippers.
The vanilla flippers, yep.
Yeah, and also you were the, well actually no, because Taijuu didn't finish, but you did not have, you had the Master Sword going into Ganon, and your opponent, the other 2 racers who did finish, didn't had the Tempered Sword.
Oh, where was Tempered?
Did you get, where'd you get your swords again? Because I actually don't remember which ones you got.
I think it was one in Castle Basement, I think.
Yes, and then there's one in Turtle Rock. I know you got that one. So you missed.
Yeah.
There was one in Pod, of course. So.
Of course. Oh man.
Yeah, it was in the. in one of the dark rooms, the U-shaped dark room. That's where the other one was.
Yeah, I just picked all the wrong spots to use my keys in pod. I would have had lamp so much sooner, but not having lamp until 2 hours in, it's not a good time.
No, we definitely noticed your rage on that chest for sure. So.
Whew.
So you do still have 3 more weeks of the tournament, so it definitely be a lot of fun to watch you go forward.
Absolutely. Hopefully, take what I learned from here and go forward.
Yeah, one thing that I would definitely recommend is like for Palace of Darkness. Again, just kind of go through your mind and like all the possible small key scenarios, and just try to kind of work around like what would be the best route for each type of key setup. That really helped me in kind of routing that dungeon, so that is something you can definitely do for the future, and maybe that'll not come back to bite you like it did in this particular scene.
Right on. I appreciate the words. Yeah, that's probably a good place to start.
For sure.
All right, Slim. We do have a race at 11. Do you have any more final comments?
Not really. I was just gonna also just say, shoot, what was the other thing I was gonna say? I had it at the tip of my tongue, but then I just blanked on it right there. Oh, I was just gonna say that basically what this race came down to was that the right side runners, so TimLobo and Taijuu, had the flippers very early, but then Hitaka and Glan got the hook shot early, so it was kind of interesting watching the dynamic of that, how both sides of the race kind of were in different types of routing situations, and just really cool to watch that. That'd be one fun thing to watch back if you ever want to check out the VOD.
Did they sequence break into Death Mountain?
I don't.
Hitaka did, Glan didn't.
Technically,
Yes.
I did, because I didn't have 6 pod keys.
I always got the fluid out of what was it, Slum Palace, and then I went to Death Mountain and got the old man that way.
I went up Death Mountain without lamp, so yeah, I sequence broke it.
Yeah, I had the lamp, but
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much how the race went between the two sides of it. Just one missing hook shot, one missing flippers. But yeah, like my co-commentator mentioned, we do have a race coming up, so we should probably close it out. Definitely follow all 4 runners for the rest of this tournament, and just in general. They put on quite the show today, and it was a joy to watch them. It was a joy to call this race, watch this race. It was a lot of fun. Of course, as usual, shout out to both of our trackers for this race. We had Math Girl and Sigma for tracking all the items that happened between all 4 runners. It's very valuable to have that, so thank you to both of them for doing that. And of course, the Feasel team for bringing all these restreams and all these tournament matches to Speed Gaming. It's always a joy to just kind of stop on Speed Gaming every day to see what kind of matches are going on, whether it's for this tournament or any of the many others that are going on. And last but not least, thank you to Dark Falls 1983, my co-com. It was a lot of fun calling this with you, and that's all I gotta say. So if you want to have the final word, go right ahead.
And you can't forget yourself there, Slim. It was a ton of fun calling with you. Thank you very much for calling this with me. I really appreciate it. And with that, chat, I am DarkFalls1983. With me today was Slim Kirby. Everyone have a fantastic evening. Stay tuned. We have another race coming up in about 10 minutes or so. We will see you on the next show. Everyone have a great evening.
All right, y'all. Good luck in the future races.